I saw a video response to a Destiny video featuring the Equal Money System book that will be released in the fall of this year. And in this response, the YouTube user is approaching his response from the perspective of a hater. Why do I say that? Is because, as is typical for a hater, and as we've seen throughout several anti-destiny and hater videos on YouTube, instead of taking on the actual point, say for instance here, equal money, the equal money system proposal, what is done is this person is attacking specific points, creating a personal attack and attempting to diminish the Estonians, for instance, to diminish the point of equal money, to diminish the proposal for an equal money system, without, however, going into any common sense argument, without going into proposing any other solutions for this world, but instead taking points such as exclamation marks and capitalized words, making personal attacks out of singular words taken out of context, instead of actually referring to the context that is at hand. And there is no sign of any interest in the world, any interest in the conditions we are currently faced with as humanity, no sign of any interest for working together, no sign for any realization of the necessity to do something about this world as we know it. Rather, merely personal attacks, merely attempts to diminish what it is we present, what it is we are doing, what it is we are busy with and work on. So this seemingly superior approach is in fact only revealing the person's own judgment, the person's own idea of oneself and one's world. And for anyone who has been utilizing and applying the Destiny tools and developing common sense, it is simplistic to see that behind such projected superiority there can only be a inferior, denied definition of self. Because why would one want to make others appear less than? Why would one want to diminish others if it is not to apparently uplift oneself and make oneself seem more than and superior? Again, without addressing the matter at hand and without offering any suggestion to a solution, without even considering the necessity for a change, for a solution, without even including oneself in that which must change. So this is again one of the typical traits of haters that are only busy pointing fingers and blaming external forces through judgment, through projected opinions, through defamation, and not willing to face oneself, not willing to take self-responsibility and invert the point back to self, to see who I am within this all, instead of pointing fingers and trying to ridicule others to just feel better about oneself and one's position. So for anyone who is finding oneself within such self-application, be it on the web or in everyday life, with one's family and friends, colleagues at work, whatever, one is able to step back and actually look at oneself and ask oneself to see and reveal the accepted definitions, the accepted judgments, the accepted opinions about oneself and the others in one's world. And fascinatingly enough, one will find a bipolar situation, a polarized construct, and one can look at how to practically take responsibility for one's own judgments and ideas about oneself and one's world, and how to re-establish a point of equality, because that point of equality is the only point where self-responsibility is possible, the only point where self-honesty is possible, the only point where reality is possible, actually, because to change things in reality, one has to let go of one's preconceived ideas about oneself and one's world. And one will find that all preconceived ideas are based in constructs of superiority and inferiority, are based on polarized concepts of definitions, polarized concepts of this world, polarized concepts of who one is. So it is suggested that one stop the mind of polarity and take self-directive, stand accountable for who one is, and take self-responsibility for how one coexists in this world, because this is how we create the world as we know it, and the world as we know it is certainly not a pretty sight. Time for insight.